Hello, welcome to the third standard tournament for Monster Sanctuary. This is the quarterfinals match between Sphinx and FlowingJuffowup. I am Pope Pius the 13th,
And I'm Mary.
and we'll
And
be commentating over this match with Flowing on the left and Sphinx on the right. So for this match, we have, let's see, a charge and stack and base team with Targo, Salhammer, and Koi, which have been kind of dominating the meta lately.
the Goat Hammer Fish meta, along with some Age Sorcery, it seems, as at least Sphinx's backup team.
Yeah, it looks to be a pretty similar matchup on both sides.
Oh, Sphinx starts out with the Kame. Maybe that's better in the mirror.
It is weak to magic, or yeah, it is weak to magic, which might not be good, depending on what's used here. I unfortunately have not been on the receiving end of Salhammer and Koi, so I'm not entirely familiar with what kind of offense to expect from them.
We're already getting a pretty explosive opener as Koi is already having its Phoenix Affinity popped.
Oh,
And there it goes down.
I was about to say that it wouldn't be a problem due to Phoenix Affinity, like keeping it around, but the burn was just enough to take it out. Koi ends up with pretty high attack and magic due to having two instances of mana overload. So and additionally, it doesn't resist fire, and nor does it have high HP, so that can lead to it taking a decent enough amount of burn damage. Now Kami can finally set up protect, or no, that was actually Targot setting up protect, full protect on both of them. So being able to redirect those attacks will help them going forward, but being down a monster from the first turn is not a good start for Sphinx.
They try to remedy this with the instant ultimate on the Koi, but unfortunately it's barely not even enough to pop the Phoenix Affinity. Quite a loss of momentum on Sphinx's side.
Yeah, Kami doesn't have any way of getting through the Phoenix Affinity. Best it could do would be some single hit attack or
Oh, the
shield burst.
miss! That's so unlucky.
Yeah, that's I didn't. Yeah, we couldn't see the dodge percentage chance, but Koi doesn't have the agility buff, so it would just have only its evasion chance, or the chance from its evasion passive for that dodge. So that was really unfortunate. It's gonna really slow down Sphinx's team.
Hovering the tsunami damage, but deciding to go straight for the Aqua Blast. That is Eagle's Phoenix Affinity already popped as well. Such a huge start from Flowing.
Yeah, and unfortunately now their Targo can redirect the attacks, which might make it so that this turn Sphinx can only pop the Phoenix Affinity on the Koi, and if that's all I can do, then it's gonna really just lose them so much momentum. It'll be really hard to come back from that. Going for the AoE attack and hoping to get the Koi with the AoE, which unfortunately just barely did not work.
The reduced damage really showing its Mage Gear caveat.
I imagine there might not have been any AoE or anything good to go for on Kami, so he just went for the shielding, which is kind of unfortunate. If he had just done it the opposite order, then he would have had the combo from it. But I
Oh,
imagine that he was banking on the entirely on the Eagle getting the kill with the thunderstorm.
and that is
Yeah,
Phoenix dropping already.
yeah. With that, I don't think they're coming back from that. Now, Sailhammer could come out in here with some surprising damage, but I think Sphinx's fate is pretty well sealed. But I've been surprised before in the tournaments here. I have declared some early wins and been totally wrong before.
It's definitely very hard to recover from such early losses, especially on what seems to be his two DPS monsters. But he can definitely stall out for quite a while with Targot and Kame. So we'll see if they'll be able to find an opening.
Right, taking out the Targo is pretty nice. I could give him the damage that they need in order to break through. Without Targo resupplying the shields so much every turn, might be that might be enough, but it'll depend if they can stay alive themselves. And that might be quite difficult with Ornithopter now and using all of its buff cleansing and combo building, and also helping out with dealing damage.
Ornithopter's cleanse is absolutely going to be very useful with securing the lead.
Ooh, yeah, that was a really easy kill there. I think that's going to do it for Sphinx. Because even after just all that passive attack, after that attacking, all the passive shielding from Ornithopter was enough to get most of Flowing's monsters up to quite good in HP amounts. I don't think Sphinx will be able to break through that.
In theory, Vertrog could be able to stall enough of gravity, but I'm pretty sure their Koi still has the Phoenix affinity, which means that even after all that waiting, it won't result in much.
Yeah, a popular strategy with Vertrag is to take its ultimate gravity and then let it build up charge stacks. And then if the game stalls out for a long time, it can use that ultimate. And with all those charge stacks, it can actually do a surprising amount of damage. It takes a long time to build that up, though.
Oh, the
Ooh.
shield burst damage. Absolutely popping the Hammer.
Yeah, so we could, if Kami can keep doing that each turn, and if Koi somehow manages to not get more kills, we could see a turnaround on this for Sphinx. So attacking early with that Vertrog on for flowing means that they're massively slowed down if they want to try and go for a gravity to get a nice wipe. On Sphinx's team, but I imagine that just killing off the Vertrag is better because once Sphinx is down to 2 monsters, due to combo, 2 monsters acting is going to be much worse than 3, and at that point, yeah, the match is over at this point.
Yep, at this point, keeping this round going would be most fruitless, unfortunately. However, Sphinx still feels it believes in it, maybe hoping to get a few shield bursts off of Kami's inherent tankiness.
Yeah, he can get a shield burst off possibly. Oh, okay, charging up shields for a later turn. I don't think they would be able to really get there, as they're going to probably need to spend 2 turns in each shield burst, and during that time, shields are going to be drained.
The tankiness, though, is really showing its colors. They can barely even scratch the shield.
Yeah, the lack of a single target magic attack on Koi does mean that it won't be able to really take down Kami. Oh, interesting. Going for Ornithopter as the last acting, just to get that magic attack as the or a single target magic attack in order to exploit Kami's weakness. So it was able to, or Floating was able to wear down the shields a decent amount, but I don't think yeah, Kami has more shields than they started with last turn, so definitely be able to pick off a monster of Flowing's. However, with Koi still having a Phoenix Affinity and Elder Gel also having Phoenix Affinity, at this point, Sphinx has to get 5 kills still with Shield Burst. Now, once you can get 1 on Vertrog in order to take it out, that will help out massively, but I don't think that Sphinx will just be able to get there, especially seeing how much damage is being dealt and considering that Elder Gel came out, which is very good at dealing single target magic damage.
Not only that, but Vertrog and Elder Gel's H stacks are ramping up too, making it so even if right now they can't take down the Kame, they will.
Yeah, being able to build up the bleed also helps build towards some inevitability. I think at this point, the Elder Gel being the last monster there, having both Phoenix Affinity and high magic damage, kind of seals Sphinx's fate.
Covering the gravity damage, barely not enough. However, the combo rating from Koi might be able to push it over. In fact, I'm pretty certain it should be able to. Look at that combo rating build.
Yeah, and that's just off of an AoE attack from Vertrock, and there's still also Elder Gel. I imagine that 20% miss chance is pretty intimidating, because some really bad misses could lead to the Kami surviving. But even if it does, it doesn't have the shields. And there we go. That'll finish off the match.
Significantly safer and pretty much guarantees Flowing's win as Sphinx forfeits.
Yeah, that was quite the impressive ending to the match there. I didn't expect Kami to hold on so well. All right, so let's see. Each player gets to bring in 9 monsters with 3 in the side, and it appears Flowing brought in a Spectral Toad, and Sphinx kept their team the same. And since Sphinx lost, they got to choose to go first. Okay, so then Flowing chose Toad to have a tankier start, so that hopefully Salahammer and Koi and Targo working together won't be able to take out one of their monsters turn 1. Toad has Taunt, so has a 25% chance to redirect an attack to one of its allies to itself, which could really mess up Sphinx's goal to be able to kill a monster in turn 1.
In general, a rather smart adaptation, as one of Goathammerfish's major strength is the extremely explosive turn 1s. As we see right here, even Toad's inherent tankiness barely manages to survive a hit. However, that is a crucial success.
Yeah, even got Toxic Skin proc, so for the poison on the Salahammer. Overall, it's really difficult to deal with Toad in a team because it brings so much healing, some good debuffing, and lots of channel support. And there's just a lot of times where when you're looking at a Toad and trying to take down the enemy team, you just have to go for the Toad because it could taunt any time. And if you have to spend a ton of multiple turns on just killing their Toad, then the rest of the team can just kind of snowball off of that. Elder damage is looking very impressive off of really any of its options.
Unfortunately, not enough to take down Salahammer, even if it wasn't protected right now. Going for the Bubble Deluge for some nice AoE damage. Ooh, half of Salamander's health, more than half thanks to the bleed.
And the poison. And it's also weak, which is pretty nice. Now Targa does have Aura Shield, which removes all the debuffs anyway.
Salahammer's auto restore and a turn not attacking with Koi will recover the damage. However, he's going straight for the offense.
Oh, strange. Even they went for the Vertrog, even though Toad was already low on health. And then went for Elder Gel. They might be trying to set up an AoE attack to get the kill next turn.
Most likely that, and also Toad was given defensive buffs last turn, potentially lowering the damage enough to where they couldn't kill him outright.
Yeah, I suppose we can't see Sphinx's damage predictions to see why exactly they're targeting the way they are. Although, due to not getting any kills last turn, unfortunately for Sphinx, might lead to them losing Salahammer here. Well, as long as they don't miss with Thunderstrike, they should be getting the Salahammer. The unfortunate part of Flowing setup here is that Vertrog and Toad, neither of them want to attack at all. Toad doesn't attack very well with its support build, and Vertrog just wants to keep building up charge stacks. Doesn't want to use them up on a weaker attack. So that leads to issues here with Targo being able to protect every turn.
Most of Elder Gel's biggest damage sources are single target, besides his ultimate and Thunderstorm, which is making the Targo protect very inconvenient to take out the Salahammer.
Oh, definitely. Oh, and then Koi can still follow up with Blessed Strikes or something, or yeah, probably Blessed Strikes, or even Spectral Wave.
The double kill.
Oh, yeah, even
Brutal.
getting Vertrog. Ooh. Yeah, that did not turn out very well for Flowing there. Well, now thankfully they do have 2 monsters to attack to try and get the protect, so they can get out that Salamhammer, who's only at half health. Unfortunately, after losing 2 monsters like that, it'll be hard for them to recover.
Especially when, unlike last time, the Sphinx's team is in full health, as opposed to was at least somewhat damaged.
I suppose they have a lot of options for which way they wanted to attack. Surprising to see only like 100 or just a little bit less than that damage on each hit. Unfortunate.
Salamhammer survives. It seems
Yeah.
that Koi was lacking enough critical strike to fully guarantee its defeat.
Yeah, having to spend so many turns on not killing the Salamhammer it's really bad for Flowing. Though the good thing for Flowing is that all these debuffs that have been applied are sticking. Don't know if it'll be enough to save him though.
The weakness on Koi has seemingly been helping. Especially right there.
Yeah, but the Koi was only acting second though. Salamhammer still has a turn.
True.
Oh, and gets the burn proc onto the Koi. But thankfully, due to the regen buff, it survived. Tough to choose whether or not to single target heal one or go for the AoE heal. Goes for the AoE heal, which is probably for the best to make sure both of them have a decent amount of health and both of them also get charge stacks and buffs. Flowing might be able to get the Salamhammer here, but it's probably too little too late.
Thankfully, the Koi did crit enough, as I think, if I recall correctly, the damage calculator seemed that it would have been off if Koi didn't crit enough. But thankfully, it manages to pull through. However, the game state is still looking very much in Sphinx's favor.
Yeah, Fresh Eagle coming in now. Well, doesn't have any elemental advantages, but except with wind against Koi. But that's probably going to be just enough. Oh, a taunt from Toad finally. That's pretty huge here. Really just blanked. I just blanked Koi's attack. Oh, and I'm
Oh, a
gonna.
second one! Completely eating their DPS's turns. Very lucky.
Well, okay, so that turn of taunts could turn around this game, as I just basically just blanked the Sphinx's previous turn, and that is huge since that now allows Toad to get the team fully healed.
Alongside getting up some charge stacks, thanks to Light Shift Toad's passive. Hopefully enabling some kind of momentum shift.
Well, these damage previews on the Salamhammer are looking good, considering it's only going second.
Soaking up the protect. Hopefully Koi can... If he crits, it seems like it's enough.
All right, getting rid of the Phoenix Affinity on the Eagle. Now we'll just have to see if they can, if Flowing can survive another turn. It was really strange. Last time we were down or rooting for Sphinx since they're on the back foot, and now this time we just kind of reversed which way we're going.
It's easier to get hype for the underdogs, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, so as long as Toad doesn't taunt the Koi's attack, yeah, there we go. Oh, I wasn't expecting.
Salamhammer survives. That's huge.
Yeah, wow. This game's really turning around for Flowing. They're still down a monster, but they should be able to get rid of the Eagle this turn. Possibly with an AoE attack?
If it crits, it seems so, but I think Flowing might prefer to go for the safer play. But we'll see.
Oh, Meteor Shower. Interesting.
Not what I expected, but the shields might come in very, very handy. Oh, it didn't even have Protect. Oh, of course, because Target used Aurora's shield.
Yeah, so they were able to go for the AoE attack just for a bit of extra damage and the shielding, which puts Flowing in a more comfortable position health-wise.
Game state has seemed mostly even besides the Koi already being much more set up.
Yeah, and the fact that Sphinx has gotten rid of all the debuffs on their monsters helps. Oh, and that Tsunami does not do the damage that they needed. Unfortunately, it's really hard for Sphinx to go for single target attacks because Toad could taunt anytime.
And we've seen what happens when Toad gets a very lucky taunt off.
Yeah, that taunt really saved Flowing this match, getting those two in the one turn.
Definitely the MVP of this match. Or
Yeah,
this round.
yeah, especially since it also soaked up the first turn's attack and survived that big AoE and Spectral Wave. Oh, okay, that
Vertrog
was
barely latches on.
yeah, that could have been really bad for Sphinx losing for Trog here.
As we can see here, the game has gone on long enough for the Infinity stacks to start coming in. This should cause some rather explosive finishes to really end off this seemingly significantly more evened out game.
Now here's Vertrag, only 2 turns in, going for the Gravity. Not doing all that impressive of damage, but it was only going second. This might be enough damage for Koi to get rid of one of the opposing monsters. So each Infinity stack gives 25% bonus damage, and then the player who goes second gets the first one, I believe, on turn 7. Oh, man. Wow, yeah, it is surprising to just see how much Toad, Silenthammer, Koi have just been holding on to Sphinx's onslaught.
Yeah, those taunts and Toad's passive Protector, I think, the one that reduces damage dealt, is also showing quite a lot of usefulness here, as with Salhammer barely clinging on numerous times.
Yeah. And Vertrog should be going down here, which will really spell out the end for Sphinx unless Kami can come out here with some really good shielding or a good shield burst.
Nakame is definitely was able to put a lot of work in last game. I wouldn't say it's completely over for Sphinx yet.
Yeah, that shielding amount does look pretty good on Kami, though they'll probably need more charge stacks to get an elimination with their shield burst. And unfortunately, Toad's taunt can always ruin a good shield burst. Oh, going second to Aqua Blast was enough to take out that Kami. Oh, okay.
Absurd.
Yeah, those Infinity stacks in the Koi and Kame coming in were able to salvage the match for Sphinx. Yeah, at this point, Toad nor Targo to have the damage output needed to really do anything. Though Toad does have a ton of charge stacks, so if they bide their time, they could... Oh, they're going to go for it. I guess they decided it was either now or never, and unfortunately they missed and didn't get the crits that were needed, which is understandable. Toad doesn't the equipment you put on Toad does not give it good crit chance. So it was mostly just its glory buff if it has one. Yeah, it has 3 glory buffs, so it's mostly just relying on that. And that was kind of their out, was just to be able to take out the Kami there, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. So on to game 3 now, with both players having 1 win. Let's see. Okay, so now Flowing is going first and swapped out Toad for Azarach. And Sphinx has the
Vertrog
exact same
for
team.
Flowing also swapped out Vertrog for Ornithopter, hoping to potentially cleanse a lot of the buffs.
Ah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, combining both Azranch and Ornithopter. Yeah, looks like that's their goal here is just to wipe out the enemy team's buffs.
Flowing also gets to go first with the Goat Hammer Fish core. Let's see if he gets that explosive opening.
Looks like Vertrog could go down turn 1. All right, as long as Flowing gets their crits, then Vertrog should be going down. Now, Blessed Strikes does give glory before the attack does damage. So the damage prediction, so it looks pretty safe. Yeah, in order to get that. Yeah, lots of overkill there.
And there it is, the explosive opening that Goat Hammer Fish was predicted to have, taking down Vertrog immediately. Let's see how Sphinx responds.
Yeah, Sphinx gets to keep Kame, which is pretty big because Sphinx has proven so far that Kame is probably the biggest thorn in Flowing's side.
Ooh, a
Oh.
lot of dodge.
Yeah, that Koi has a spell shield buff, so then it gives it a 20% chance to miss on top of its evasion passive. That was really unfortunate. They got like 4 or 5 misses in a row. Now the eagle has no buffs on it, so it wasn't going to really necessarily do a ton of damage, but that was really sad to see. All right, so Flowing there, getting rid of the taunt. And whoa, that is a really powerful spectral wave. Could possibly take out the Targot with it. Oh man,
Gigantic. Holy. That is a
yeah, that is going to massively hurt Sphinx here. Not being able to have Targot support the Kames by giving it shields. At this
not
point, Kami's going to have to go on full support duty.
not just the shields, but also losing access to the protect allows Flowing's team to really just go all in on the most important monsters on Sphinx's team.
Yeah, I don't think that as Sphinx is only down 2 monsters, but I think that's gonna pretty well spell his doom just because they lack their supports now. Kami on their own probably won't be able to do much. Or I should say, that Kami won't be able to do enough because they can shield fine, but redirecting one of the attacks from Flowing's team is probably more important here, since Silent Hammer, even going second, can output some good damage. Well, Thunderstorm did a lot of damage there, but it wasn't enough. Although Targot's shielding amounts aren't looking very good right now, so if Eagle can survive another turn, it might be able to wipe out the enemy team.
I believe Phoenix still has its Phoenix affinity.
I forget last turn what happened. I imagine it still does, otherwise it probably wouldn't be at as high of HP as it is right now. Because there isn't really any healing over on Sphinx's side.
That spectral wave looks like it would do absolutely monstrous damage, though. However, he is opting to take out Salahammer out immediately.
Yeah, guaranteeing the one kill, probably better in the Flowing situation, rather than risking going for 2 and possibly not getting either.
Especially since Flowing is in such a advantageous position, even if Eagle manages to take out someone with an AoE, I don't think it would be enough to make a comeback.
Unless Kami can really work its wonders, I don't think Sphinx really comes back from this. Or Eagle could wipe out the entire enemy team with an attack here, though I highly doubt that would be happening. Yeah, it doesn't even get any think that's gonna pretty well spell the end for Sphinx here. Yeah, unfortunately, losing Targot early like that was really bad, and yeah, their Kami is down now.
Really feeling the effects of no longer having Protect. Those
Eagle does.
misses are really lucky, though.
Yeah,
However, it's not enough.
Eagle does have revive usually, usually grab it when going down the right tree on it. So that might have been able to do something there, but Kami very much relies on building up charge stacks over time to really do much with its shield burst, so reviving it wouldn't really do much. So
Here we can.
now in response to Sphinx going first, the Flowing is sending out Azarach and Ornithopter from turn 1. So Azarach applying blind to each of the opposing monsters turn 1, and Ornithopter having concealed is a pretty good start.
Yeah, a very nice adaptation from Flowing to try and hopefully luck their way out of Goat Hammerfish's early start.
Yeah, overall, Flowing's been making great use of their sideboard monsters.
We'll see how impactful the adaptation is overall. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, Ornithopter has the ability Concealed, which gives it an extra 30% dodge chance on the first turn. Overall, that was pretty huge there with all those misses. Now we get to finally see Azarach in action with how much it'll be removing the opposing team's buffs and also applying blind. Which I suppose that is a weakness of Targot, Salahammer, and Koi, is that they really don't have any way of removing blind stacks. Now they all do have high. Now Salahammer and Koi do have high hit counts, so the blind doesn't affect them too heavily, but it is still going to be quite the hindrance.
Not to mention, Azark wasn't just removing their buffs, he was outright stealing them, giving a very large momentum shift towards Flowing's team. As now Sphinx's team once again has to spend another turn getting back the buffs that they lost.
The abundance of undodgeable attacks with both Spark Shower and Aqua Blast does help get past Azarach and Ornithopter, but unfortunately, Leaf Slash would be much preferred in this situation since Azarach is weak to Earth.
Not to mention, blind is different from dodge in that you can still miss even on dodgeable moves, which means that even then, a lot of extra tankiness is given to Flowing's team via the blind stacks proccing. Targo just completely robbed of most of his buffs, as Flowing opts to blind the Koi significantly.
And with Azarach's aura for blind, it's also going to be debuffing a bit. So overall, as long as Flowing's team can keep dodging and keep blinding, they might be able to kind of stall things out for infinity stacks, which will give their team the edge they need in order to break through. I think Sphinx is going to go for the Coal Toss onto Azarach, just hoping to not miss, since Salhammer has no blind stacks. Yep, and that is what they needed. Losing Azarach is really unfortunate for Flowing here, since that was what was really helping to keep Sphinx's team at bay. But Ornithopter and Targo to almost full health and shields. So as long as they can keep the Koi safe, they should be able to make use of all the buff removal and blind from Azarach in order to kind of sneak in a kill here.
Not to mention the buff removal has still not ended with Ornithopter, allowing them to continue to slow down Sphinx's team.
All right, didn't quite get a kill there. So it's unlikely Salhammer is going to heal up enough. So it really depends. It would really depend if Sphinx could get the kill on Koi this turn, though it's very unlikely due to the Protect and Koi having Phoenix Affinity.
the undodgeable Spark Shower forcing Koi's Phoenix Affinity out. However, it's still not entirely removed, so Koi may be able to get a good hit off before falling.
Correct, and Hammer didn't manage to get the burn, which would have possibly killed Koi there. It looks like they opted to just go for the single target on the Silent Hammer to ensure that it went down. Probably the smart play in this situation, just to guarantee that that goes down. Now, unfortunately, Koi is most definitely going to go down next turn, though it will take Sphinx, hopefully, for flowing a good amount of effort.
Very likely to see either the Spectral Eagle coming in for Thunderstorm or two actions being used outright, which is a very nice amount of stalling.
Urtrag finally getting rid of that last bit of blind. Yeah, that special wave is pretty huge, being able to take out all of Targo's shields. So now Salhammer can come in, and that might be able to keep the momentum going for flowing. So unfortunately, the flowing lacks neutral damage for Sphinx's Vertrag, so they won't be able to get the kill there.
Ornithopter's Wind Allegiance ending up as a drawback in this situation.
Though it does allow it to hit Targot and Koi for super effective damage. Oh, so if Sailhammer doesn't miss its crits against Koi, it could get the kill. Though you'd have to get really lucky.
Has one glory stack, so not only would it have to get lucky with crits, but also not missing. However, Spark Shower will circumvent that. Let's see if he gets lucky with the crits.
He does.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, no burn. However, I don't think that would have taken it down thanks to the regen.
Still flowing got themselves back into a decent position here. Though now that Vertrag's on the field, it can undo the damage that Sphinx is doing with its healing. Or, sorry, I should say the damage that Flowing's doing.
Not to mention, there's always that looming creep of that gravity wipe. Now that Vertrag is on the field and stacking.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to go. I was expecting Sphinx to go for the encapsulate onto the Koi, but they might just be accepting that Koi goes down next turn and just try to go for an elimination, which unfortunately did not work out. Although Vertrag is quite the threat with its gravity, the unfortunate thing here is that if Sphinx wants to go for that, they can't attack with Vertrag in order to take out the protect on the target. I imagine things could possibly stall out here until Infinity stacks. Unless they kill Targot. Seems that Silent Hammer has enough damage to get whoever they like. Opts for the Koi.
The buff removal from Ornithopter while also using up Targot's Protect is really proving crucial here. As not only is Targot getting squishier and squishier, but it's once again getting rid of the Protect so they can also take down the real threats of the team. Just a really nice use of multitasking from the Ornithopter pick.
Yeah, very good here. So now with Kami, Sphinx is just going all in on the defensive, probably hoping to just build up enough charge stacks and shields for a really huge shield burst or gravity. With all three monsters healing and shielding, and they'll make it very hard for Flowing to bust through. Though Flowing did get the first Infinity stacks now.
Using the tackle on the Targo as Protect is already up to eat up the enemy Targo's Protect, and hopefully being able to focus down potentially the Kame.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, that might be enough to take down a monster here, depending on how much damage. Ooh,
Well,
very
not enough.
unfortunate.
It's a huge chunk.
Yeah, very unfortunate it didn't work out. That does use up all of Targo's charge stacks, but in this situation, and also Flowing didn't get any shielding built up by Targo. Although that's not too terrible in this situation, since Sphinx isn't really going to be attacking many turns, so keeping up the shielding isn't going to be super productive every turn. Well, Comics was still able to build up a good amount of shields. They might be able to get rid of the Targots.
With Vertrog's charge stacks entering the triple digits, the gravity threat is definitely looming closer and closer, especially now with Infinity stacks coming into play. The shield burst, barely not
Ooh,
enough to take down the Targo.
dang. That might mean that next turn, the Vertrog's gravity is coming to wipe them all out. Yeah, we can see Flowing here targeting the Vertrog. They know it's coming. In this situation, though, it's probably just safer for them to take out the Kame.
Thankfully, Salahammer can do that by himself relatively easily. Ornithopter probably hoping to either get some damage or take off as much buffs as possible in hopes of reducing that inevitable gravity's damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't get that this turn, and that gravity is probably going to wipe out all of Flowing's monsters, which will end this match. And Elder Gel alone won't be enough to take down all three of those monsters. So yeah, this really shows just the threats that Vertrag presents.
Building up combo with the Solar Burst.
Oh yeah, they're going for it this turn.
And here it is. The
Oh,
misses! Oh,
oh,
extremely lucky.
oh. Okay, so Flowing is still in on this match.
Very exciting turn of events.
Yeah, nor I've been on the receiving end of my fair share of gravities from Vertrag, so I'm used to just to being completely wiped out by it. But Vertrag does not have any tools to help it get past dodge, so now things are kind of reset back to even.
That is an absurd amount of damage. Oh, that Thunderstorm's gonna result in a double kill from Elbagel.
Oh, wow. And that was only going second, though Flowing does have 3 infinity stacks.
Huge turn of events.
Oh man, that was quite the turnaround.
Those misses were so crucial there. As Sphinx forfeits. Thank you for watching.